Nickel 6-1 Tango, Roger, over.
Oh, got it! Woohoo! Look at that thing, dude. Look at that thing. It's rotating.
And just like that.
This is the biggest I've ever seen it. Suddenly, people who didn't have any interest in UFOs are telling me, you have to get up to Pinebush.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pinebush UFO Festival for 2024. And today, we're going to be taking walks up and down the street. We're going to be looking at parades. We're going to be looking at fashion shows. Who knows what else? Maybe aliens will come down and take us all away with them, and we'll all be happy forevermore.
It gets bigger every year. Talk with the people who've experienced it themselves. That's where the truth is.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
If you can say, this is the Pinebush UFO Fair, and you're listening to UFO Headquarters, should we all turn our mics?
Let's do it. You want to try it?
This is the Pinebush UFO Fair, and you're listening to UFO Headquarters.
I'm going to interject for a second. My name is Michael Warden. I live in the Port Jervis area. I'm a retired police officer, did 22 years, so I'm naturally curious. There's definitely been a change at least over the last 10 years, more so probably the last 5, that it's, number one, it's become much more of an accepted field to talk about. You know, it's no longer the people get scoffed at because they think they saw something in the sky they can't explain. People are more willing to listen that were skeptical in the past and not jump to the conclusion that every sighting has an explanation. There are people that have been pushed over that from the skeptical side to, okay, not everything can be explained. There are certain things that are unidentified. Does it mean it's an alien craft? No. Doesn't mean it's a UFO from another planet? No, but it's unidentified. And I think the hearings that you're seeing with the government, anytime the government does something like that, it brings an added layer of credibility.
Was this the first time that you encountered a UFO or a UAP?
Yes. I think what we experienced was, like I said, well beyond the material science and the capabilities that we had at the time, that we have currently, or that we're going to have in the next 10 to 20 years.
So this original artwork is called Alien Misunderstanding. So they're flying by at light speed. As they get off their ship, they're greeted by dogs. The dogs' energy is amazing. They're like, this is the most beautiful planet. These are the most beautiful beings. Everything's going great. And then in the distance, they hear the Apaches. And then everything changed. It's a big misunderstanding. Aliens are nice people. Humans ruin everything. I don't know why people get all scared and all freaked out. They're not scary. You see this one here? This is about aliens coming to our planet and empathizing with bears. The bear's like, I'm not scary. And aliens like, I'm not scary either. People are just seem to be a little put off by things they don't understand or things that are different.
So, Pinebush UFOs, I could sit here all day, obviously, and talk about them. My name is Linda Zimmerman, and I've been researching and writing about UFOs in the Hudson Valley for many years, and I'm here for part of the Pinebush UFO Festival. Well, having grown up in the Hudson Valley, I was always surrounded by UFO stories because it happened everywhere. Pinebush in particular was in the big wave of the late 80s, early 90s. It's a very easy rabbit hole to fall into, and I'm still down there because this place is remarkable.
And so in Pinebush, supposedly, there are one of the top two-tier cryptids that are supposedly working with the aliens in some capacity.
So my name is Tom Quackenbush. I was here presenting on the connection between cryptids and UFOs. This is probably my 10th Pinebush UFO fair. I have heard that the community here is a little more open because in essence we had soft disclosure. We had David Grush go in front of Congress and say, yes, there were crash ships, yes, there were non-human biologics. And for a lot of people here, that was confirmation that finally someone in the government was saying what they knew about always, what was happening to them. And I'm sure I've heard people at the fair today be more easygoing, be more comfortable saying like, this is what I saw. Then if it's tic-tac-toe UFO happened, that footage was out and they said, that's what I saw. You know, it's not some shadowy thing. It's not something to be made fun of. It is on record. Our government has said, yes, there are things we can't identify that do things that are seemingly impossible.
I think because UFOs are becoming more acceptable, they're in the mainstream news. It's not such the ridicule factor anymore, and I think people feel more open to participate in it. When I first started doing the fair, people were kind of hesitant to open up, but I see with each succeeding year, they want to talk and they'll come back. Remember I told you my story? Well, I brought my friend, they want to tell their story. They feel good about talking about it now and want to share. So it's a culture change in society. It's a culture change within individuals.
And then we were talking about, you know, everyone was all like really excited about lights in the sky that looked a little different, but then looked like
it was a plane.
planes. So.
But was it really a plane? Maybe they use a cover as a plane and they're really not. Just like when the clouds come, how do you know that it isn't like a stealth covering because they're underneath, observing?
The point is, it's our job as citizens to go out there, combat the narrative, and do our best to bring the community together. Because eventually, when there's enough of us, we'll get to that next level of critical mass, and we will get disclosure. Any questions at all?
My name is Alan B. Smith. I am a UFO enthusiast and investigator. Yeah, the UAP, Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena, which is just another term for UFO, is more acceptable because of the government's involvement. And that starts some years ago with senators like Marco Rubio, Kristen Gillibrand, and now we have Chuck Schumer, who last year in 2023 introduced the UAP amendment.
For the first time, the National Archives will gather records from across the federal government on UAPs and have a legal mandate to release those records to the public if appropriate. This is a major, major win for government transparency on UAPs, and it gives us a strong foundation for more action in the future.
But the fact that these senators are getting involved and pushing amendments and doing their best to encourage the release of alleged captured UFO materials, that's a big deal.
Traditionally, it's always been, you have diehard believers, you have diehard skeptics. And the UFO field has always been lumped into those two categories. The hearings about UAPs on Capitol Hill has shown that, no, there's a very broad gray area that has to be looked into. Sure, there are diehards on both ends, but there are a lot of people here in the middle doing good work that are looking at, okay, there is something going on, what's going on and why is it?
On my podcast, Mystic Lounge, I sign off every time with the phrase, live in the mystery. Because no matter what we find out over the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, we're never going to have all the answers. I think there's this idea that aliens are going to come down, share all the mysteries of the universe.
that's an assumption. We don't know. For me, pursuing the paranormal, whether it's something I think is just entertaining or something I believe is plausible, not knowing is part of the fun. And that's what humans have always done. We sit around, we tell campfire stories, we scare ourselves a little bit. It's the mystery, it's the eyes in the brush. Maybe it's a Bigfoot, maybe it's a demon, maybe it's a goblin, we don't know. It tickles our spirit in a way that is really healthy. If that weren't true, we wouldn't be doing it. And that's something that Pinebush does and other UFO events do. It kind of nurtures our spiritual side. It's healthy for us. When we look into that abyss, we're looking into our own reflection.
I think because it's becoming more acceptable in the mainstream, people feel more empowered, emboldened to come out and share their stories, and they want to exchange ideas. They want to know they're not the only person who ever experienced something like that. It's an absolute community, and there's this smile people get on their faces when they hear someone say, "I saw that too." They don't feel so alone, and they feel, you know, justified. There is absolutely something out there. It's out there, and I think it's here too.
Me, I may look like a rock star, but I'm actually a ukulelean. Okay.
We're the ukuleleans.
Okay. Got away from me for a second there. I got to strap these things down sometimes. I don't know, but you get the idea.